one addiction that a lot of police officers do not know they have is an addiction to negative thinking. Hi, my name is Scott, author of the book Mental Health Fight of the Heroes in Blue. You can get it on Amazon. The link is below. Look, if I were to tell you, oh, I've never thought negative or complained ever during law enforcement career, come on, I'd be lying. And if you know me, you know I've complained, you know I've been negative. But it is absolutely imperative that, especially nowadays, you do not get so wrapped up in negativity that, one, you just waste your life away because we only live once and you're so wrapped up with negative thinking, and two, you get so wrapped up in negative thinking that it affects your mental health and your job performance. When it comes to the stress and the symptoms that we can experience because of exposure to trauma, the symptoms that can lead to post-traumatic stress disorder or depression, anxiety, and all kinds of things, it's just no wonder that negativity is something a lot of police officers can fall into this trap of. Think about it. You see people a lot of times when they're at their worst. The violent encounters, the domestic assaults, high intense crash scenes where there's been people hurt or killed, and there's family running to them. You've seen people at their worst, and even though it is up to you to handle it safely, professionally, responsibly, and maturely, that negative energy is still being pushed out there. Everything is energy, and you're around negativity. I mean, you've been around people who are positive and you feel more positive because you're around them. You've been around negative people and you feel a little bit negative because of their energy. These traumatic situations and calls that law enforcement officers go on is full of negativity. So you go through that experience time after time, shift after shift. And then let's take one case, for example. All right, so you have cleared the call. Whatever it was, there was some stress to it, negativity to it, and then you're in a parking lot, catching up with a phone conversation that you needed to follow up on, you're eating your lunch, or you're just taking a break to just decompress a little bit. But then all of a sudden, a coworker pulls up. You do that thing where you're lined up like this, driver's side to driver's side, and they start talking for the next 15 minutes of how disgruntled they are because the equipment in their patrol car doesn't work. And then an email pops up that the both of you receive that there are 5 new steps added to a policy to do whatever, whereas before there were less steps, obviously, and it was a little bit easier. So your mind is just like, oh my gosh, what is going on? It happens. Don't deny it. You've been there. You see it. The point I want to drive home in this video is you have to become aware. But here's the thing. Even before all this outside exposure, your brain has negative thoughts already in it. Eric Klinger, a psychologist, did a study where he had a lot of participants write down at least 500 of their thoughts throughout random times of the day. And did you know that 20% of those thoughts were morbidly violent, perverse, mean, harmful, ignorant thoughts? It's human nature to have negative thoughts. Police brains are the human brain. And that study I referenced about the psychologists, those were not even police officers. Those were ordinary civilians who don't go to work thinking, well, is this my last shift? Or, will I be killed? That thought doesn't even cross their mind. Now look, these thoughts could be very well based on an instinctive perspective because of evolution. Whenever humans were alive a long time ago, and it was survival of the fittest, this tribe would seek to kill that tribe. Fortunately, in a lot of places in the world, that doesn't exist. Thank goodness. But the brain's evolved, and the brain is still wired to protect you. It is easier to think negative than it is to think positive and constructive. Because it's, prevalent in the human brain, you put police in negative environments day in and day out, shift after shift, It's just all the more challenging to not be a person who thinks negative a lot. However, there's good news out of all this negative crap. And that good news is the brain, even though it can think negative, it also has the power to suppress, to holster, to control the negative thoughts. Like I said, it's up to you to handle all the situations in your life and on the job, professionally, safely, maturely, with humor when appropriate. That's up to you. You can holster that negative energy. You can control it. That's a good, so don't feel like you're helpless. Remember what I said. You tend to see people when they are at their worst. The lies they will tell, the manipulation that you have to work your way through because it's like, no, I got to get to the truth and something's just not right. Or the violent encounters where people will actually try to hurt or kill you. Even if you are justified in using force to defend yourself or an innocent person, or even if you just try to do the right thing and it blows up. This is a dangerous mix because it can leave you vulnerable to negative thinking. But I'll bring it up again. Your brain has the power to work its way through it and not be negative. So you don't have to be that negative person on the job. If you want to learn more about how the brain works and how you can develop strength against this negativity, especially nowadays where it's so negative out there, especially because officers are really under the microscope because of the bad actions of the 2%, making the 98% look pretty bad, even though that's not the case, that of the 98%, really true intention. But tangent over, if you want to learn more, which I would highly suggest you do, then select the link below for another video in which I'll follow up about how your brain works. Because the more you understand, the more you can become aware, and the more you learn about it, the better you can be for your health, your friends, your family. And of vast importance is to be that good cop that shows up on a call. So don't forget to check that link below. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please click the like button, subscribe to my channel if you have done so already, and comment below. Make a promise to yourself right now. Comment below. Just make a promise to yourself right now that you will be aware of your negative thinking and try to, don't try. You will do your best to squash it. Take care, and I look forward to talking to you again.